Hey guys, this is part 2 of the Power BI walkthrough. I'll be doing problems 6 through 10, and I'll go ahead and get right started. So number 6 says, create a visualization to show which products have been sold and how many of each product has been sold. So this one, we are going to take product ID and quantity. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one just by selecting a graph. Let's use, try to use this graph, see what it looks like. All right, and so it asks us to select the how many of each product has been sold. So to show which products have been sold and how many of each has been sold. So we'll go over here to order details. We will select product ID, and so since we're sorting by product ID, why don't we just go ahead and, instead of selecting that, just drag that to the axis and then drag quantity to the value. Boom. There you go. That was super simple. But this one looks a little cluttered. Why don't we play around with it for a second? I actually like this one better because with this one it's actually really cool. You can drag it along the lines and pick certain spots. So let's see if we want to do a legend or not. It make it crowded. Yeah, wow, that's a hot mess. So we're just gonna kind of keep it, maybe see what it's like this. That's still kind of a lot. So we're just gonna go back to the original one, keep it just like this, keep it nice and simple. Again, part of Power BI is just playing with things and figuring out which one is best. So this problem is super simple, just making sure the product ID is in the axis and the value is in the quantity. I'm gonna move on to number 7. Alright, so number 7 asks you to create a visualization that displays how many products each category has. Okay, so how many, think of count. And which category has the most products. Display both the category ID and the category name. So if it's asking us to change, okay, perfect, how many products each category has. So we're going to go over here to production products, the category ID, and we'll go ahead and select the product ID as well, because how many products each category has. So again, what it does so far is it summarizes everything. It doesn't really help us very much. If you go over here to product ID or category ID, let's go back to the data page. Now we can change it. Don't summarize and don't summarize. You notice sometimes when you have this top graph selected, it kind of makes it hard to take the sum off of it. But we want to do a count of product ID because the reason it is you want to figure out how many categories are for each product. So you're going to count them and it'll group it by category IDs. You can see here each category ID with each product ID. And so again, this doesn't look very good, so we're going to change it up, maybe go back to this one, and that everything looks good. So I like this, but then it asked us to, let's see here, it asked us to display both the category ID and the category name. So this requires, as you look over here, there is no category name. So we'll come over here to production categories and select the category name. And now instead of selecting it, I'm going to drag it over here and put it in the legend. See what this does now is you can see each particular product in the direct amount. Why don't we go ahead and add a few more things, make it look better. Let's go ahead and add data labels and make those data labels just a little bit bigger. That looks a lot better. So again, just kind of messing around with Power BI and seeing which thing looks the best. That's half of your work, is just figuring things out the way to best display the data. So this is number 7. Now we're going to move on to number 8. Number 8 asks for create a visualization that shows all products with a revenue over $50,000. So this one's kind of tricky, but I want to show you guys, we use a thing called measures, and essentially what measures are is they are a calculation, kind of like something you would use in Excel, but they are used for really common data analysis such as sums, averages, minimum values. And you use what's called a DAX formula, D-A-X formula. And so what we're going to do is it asks us to show all products with revenue over 50,000. So kind of using some different formulas, you know that revenue is calculated when you take a price of something multiplied by the quantity of something. So if you look over in sales order details, you have the unit price and the quantity. Now over here you see total, total cap, total new. Those are measures I've created, so you shouldn't see those unless you've already created a measure. So what we're going to do is we realize, hey, we don't have anything that calculates this, so we need to calculate using a measure. Okay? So instead of clicking, you can click new measure here. I like it doing it easier. Right-click sales order details and select new measure. Now new measure will come up here. We're going to change the name to total number. All right. Set it equal. So there's a thing, we could just use the sum of it. What the sum would do is it would sum up the entire unit price column and the entire quantity column and then multiply them, and that's incorrect. So we use a thing called SumX. Now what SumX does is it individually goes throughout each table, or throughout each row, takes the quantity, takes the unit price, and multiplies it. Then adds it to the next row where you take the quantity and the unit price multiplies it. So that way you have each individual multiplication, which is exactly what we want. So the formula for SumX goes, you first put your table name, so we're using sales order details. Should come up here, and then next you put your column. So we've got quantity times unit price. In the parentheses, go ahead and click the plus button. And over here we should now have total number. So we'll go ahead and select total number. Now, again, this is the summation of total number. We want to do it for the products that have a revenue over 50,000. So how we can do that is change the total number right here. Instead of having, first change this to, we'll go to this, back to it, say, instead of is less than, let's go ahead and, actually it's not letting me do that because it is a calculation field. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and do the donut graph. I think this donut graph will really organize things well. And let's go ahead and drag the, it asks for the product name, I believe. Actually goes to the product ID as the legend. And then it sorts everything. So we don't want it sorted by everything. So what we'll do is we'll come down here to total number and change is less than to is greater than $50,000. Apply the filter, and it gives us 4. Okay, 4 things that are greater than $50,000. But I'm not going to stop here because I think this graph looks pretty ugly. So I'll select this. I'll come over here. Actually, another thing I want to do before I do that is, so your boss probably doesn't know each product ID, but he probably knows them by the name. Why don't we come over here to production.products and take this off the legend and put product name in the legend. Now we're going to come over here, add data labels. It's currently on, so we're going to change that to both. Make them a little bit bigger. Looks a lot better. And then I don't like these colors, so why don't we come to data colors. Let's make it a little more bright. So Power BI is very customizable. And there you go. Now you have a much better looking graph that displays 4 different products, the product name, and the ones that are over 50,000. So as you can see, as you move forward, measures are very useful. They're very beneficial and allow you to do a lot more things than just the basic Power BI lets you do. So we're going to move on. Now number 9. Number 9 asks you to create a visualization that shows the different suppliers and how many products each supplier has. So first off, we're going to go ahead and use the product name as well as the supplier ID, and that gives us all the supplier IDs. We want to see how many products each supplier has. This is just giving us a specific listing of all the products. Go to this bar chart, and currently it's organized by product name. We're going to switch these. Product name with the value, put the supplier ID in the axis. Now it's organized by supplier ID, and you see here how it automatically moved to a count of product name. That's because it's organized by product ID. So we can now see which specific or how many products each product ID, or sorry, supplier ID has. We're going to change the legend. We're going to make it a supplier ID legend. That way we can see specifically which supplier ID is. We've done this before in other problems. I like to go ahead and add data labels. Maybe make them just a tad bit bigger. And there you go. And again, it's very simple. Now let's say, for example, you wanted to add something else as far as maybe the supplier name. Maybe put that at the legend instead. So you come over here to suppliers, take contact name, take that off, contact name. Boom, now it's organized by contact name. You can switch these around and have supplier ID be up here, contact name be down here, and it's organized by contact name. And if you want to, hey, I don't like to have the things up top there, as I explained in the first video, it just looks too cluttered, move it to the right side. Now everything's specified here, every single contact name, their supplier ID, and how many products they have. So that's a good looking graph that accurately displays not only the data listed in the problem, but kind of goes above and beyond. So we're going to finish off with number 10. Number 10 is a pretty simple problem. You're just trying to find the total amount of discounts given to date. So when it says just if I'm finding one thing, we'll just start with this first. Find the discounts. I believe that's in the order details table. Discounts. Okay, boom. This already sums up and gives you the answer. But I'm gonna kind of focus here on some more formatting things. I don't like the way that looks. So we'll get like the 1, 2, 3 one because it gives you one specific number. Again, that's pretty basic looking. Now for this specific one, and it's because I've already done this, it has a $sign. Yours, it may not have a $sign. So how to add that? You go over to modeling, I believe, and right now it's grayed out. If you click on the field itself, then you can go up here and select the currency. And so it's a pretty useful thing. You need to change any decimals, you need to do that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and add changes. Let's go ahead and add a title to it. We'll call this total discount amount. We're going to change that, make it a little bit bigger. We'll go ahead and center it. Let's add a nice background color to it, make something like this. Change the font color to a bluish color. So again, we're going to go ahead and keep adding some things just to kind of show how you can make graphs look better. Let's add a background, make it maybe a light gray. Change the data label color. Actually, I think make it a darker black and make it a little bit bigger. It's gonna make it a 40, and then change the category label to maybe a darker gray. You can change that name as well if you like to. But yeah, so this is the purpose of this. Again, some calculation is very easy, but again, it's how you display it at a border as well. Then looks great. So we just want to show you guys just a walkthrough of questions 6 through 10. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Again, try to experiment. For the grading policies, you'll look again at the installation guide we gave you, the PowerPoint. We want you guys to kind of figure out ways to go above and beyond. Again, don't try to clutter your graphs, but just try to experiment more and figure out better ways to show the data. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.